right, guys, what I have in my hands here is my helmet. This is what I use every single time I go out on a night hunt. All right, this is a Team Wendy XFL carbon helmet. We got some MSA Ear Pro here, and we got the RNVGs from Ultimate Night Vision. So what I want to talk about is the nods. I don't want to talk about anything else here. I get a lot of people asking questions. Hey man, can you talk about your nod setup, your helmet setup? How do you use it? You know, is it worth it? So I'm just going to talk about that briefly, and then I'll show you guys some footage of what it looks like through these nods. These RNVGs come in two different styles. The housing does. You got this standard model, and then you have another one that has an external auxiliary port for your batteries. Okay. I really don't see the point of even running those, to be honest with you. I'm running a single CR123 here, and I usually get over a month use out of these batteries. I just don't see the point of having a big battery pack up here, adding more weight and having cords all over the place. It does just fine with that one CR123, but if you feel like you need it, go for it. These are film white ComSpec tubes. From Ultimate Night Vision. You can get these for about $6,500. And guys, I use NOS religiously, okay? I know a lot of people want to know, hey, you know, have you actually ever killed a hog with it? Yes, I have. Is it ideal? No, it's not. One of your biggest issues with any type of night vision device is going to be detecting. Okay, so if we go out in the dark, we go out in the pasture, we can see fine. Let's just say we have a full moon. You'll be able to see the pigs then if they're out in the open. If you got pigs in the brush or in the tree line, it's going to be really hard to detect those animals with these nods or any type of clip-on device on your rifle. I run PVS 30 all the time, and if they're out in the open, I got a pretty good chance. Another issue is follow-up shots. So if these animals are moving left and right, and you're concentrating on one pig and you're trying to get on these other ones, now you're having to scan like crazy trying to find these animals with just your nods. So how I use it, I use it strictly for navigation, okay? When I'm rolling around in the side-by-side, and I hope I have the clips. I have some clips that I've done a while back, and if I have them, I will put them at the end of this video, where I'm rolling around and there's no moon, heavy overcast. I mean, it's really hard to navigate and even see with the nods. I would use the IR lights on my UTV, on my side-by-side, the Can-Ham. I got IR lights on there from Ultimate Night Vision as well, and I can cut those on and off whenever I need them, and I can see a lot better, okay? Stalking is one of the main reasons why I love running nods. So I would have my weapon-mounted thermal, a handheld, the rover on top of the Can-Am. I usually have different thermals that I can play with. And I was scanning with the thermals. As soon as I spot the pigs, the thermal goes back on the rifle, it gets set down, and I can see them with my nods, and I start going on a stalk. Once I get within killing range, I will flip my nods up, and I will use the thermal, the weapon-mounted thermal to hunt with, okay? And then whenever it's time to go back to the vehicle or start looking around or just going on to the next stalk, I use my nods. I will flip them down to walk. You know, I know I've done it in the past where I just strictly had a thermal, and the whole entire time when I'm walking on the stalk or even looking for pigs, you're constantly doing this. You're constantly bringing the thermal up to your eye, trying to walk around. Your peripheral is pitch black. There's nothing. It feels like you're just walking into you are walking in the dark. You know, you don't know where you're stepping, you don't know where you're going. If you're not familiar with the property, it can become a problem. I've seen Rich, and I know Rich probably doesn't want me talking about this, but I was with Rich, Todd, Mac, and Tyler. We were walking up on a big group of pigs one time, and I'm walking with my nods, and I see Rich almost just disappear in front of me. Rich stepped into a massive hole, and his right leg went into the hole, and he was hip deep in this hole. And he wasn't injured, but he fell in there pretty damn good because he was running thermals on his helmet. He was running a Skeeter. And those type of things you just can't pick up with thermals. With the nods, when he got up out of that hole and I looked down, I saw it clear as day. I saw it clear as day, and I would have avoided it. I would have avoided that hole if I was in front of him, because I would have been able to see it. Walking through trees, walking through the woods. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can use nods. It's very expensive. You know, I know $6,500 is a lot of money for a lot of people, but if you can afford to run nods and thermals at the same time, it's just ideal. It's the way to go, I think. But Tyler and Rich, they love running the skeeters on their helmet and thermals on their rifles. That's just the way they hunt. But sometimes I have the upper hand with nods, but majority of the time, they're always detecting first. They're always able to find the animals a lot quicker than I can with the thermals. It's just one of those personal preference things, you know. I've tried the skeeters on my helmet and I just couldn't do it. I just wasn't comfortable with it. I just love using the nods. But anyways, these are a lot, not a lot. They're a little bit heavier than the DT&VGs and the PVS 31 or the 31s. But these are very rugged. Guys, I'm getting in and out of that side by side. I'm walking through the trees. I can feel it getting hit all the time. And I have zero issues with the RNVGs. I feel like they're a little bit more rigid because there's less moving parts. With the DT&VGs and the 31s, you have moving parts, and you could run into a problem where you're gonna break something, okay? I've never experienced it. I know it's happened in the past, and getting these things repaired is not easy. I mean, it takes time. And so the turnaround time is ridiculous, and then you're gonna be sitting around with no nods for a while. But the RNVGs, just from what I've experienced through the other nods and with the RNVGs, I just feel like these are more rugged than the other models that I've used. If you're trying to save weight, if you wanna, you know, have your one nod that can articulate up and down, you know, go with the DT&VGs or the 31s if you can get some. But the RNVGs are hands down my favorite nods. I just feel like they're well balanced on the helmet. I got a counterweight back here, and as soon as I pull these RNVGs off to show it to somebody or you know, just take them off, I can feel the helmet immediately just go back, you know. So right now it's well balanced and I like it that way. Again, this is just the way I like to hunt, and I wanted to share this with you guys because I know a lot of people are curious to how I use them, and they're very, very useful if you use it the right way. If you're gonna want to get into hog hunting or any type of hunting at nighttime, and you strictly want to run nods and maybe a pointer or a holographic sight, something like that, hunting is going to be a little bit harder. It can be done, it has been done, but it's not very effective, and I just feel like it's a waste of money if you're going to be using this strictly to go out hunting. I suggest getting a thermal first, and then later on, if the budget allows it, to go with some nods, or if you really want to break the bank, go with some skeeters on your helmet. But there's some other cool stuff in the works. I can't talk about it, but there's some pretty cool stuff that's coming out here in the future that's going to be very, very useful for a lot of us pig hunters and varmint hunters at nighttime. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I absolutely love this setup. I've been running nods for quite some time now, and I just don't see myself ever veering away from it. I remember when I was first introduced to them, I really snubbed it. I was like, man, come on. All right, are we getting a little tactical here? Are we getting a little overboard with the equipment? I just don't feel like it was necessary. And then once I started to utilize it the right way and actually start to use them now, I can't go without them. I just feel naked. I feel blind out there without my nods, you know? So it definitely has its place, all right? But I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, I got some clips that I want to share with you guys. I'm actually going to post it up here as soon as I get done talking, and you guys can get a first look of what these actually look like at nighttime. If I remember clearly, there was heavy overcast. We had a moon, but it was heavy overcast, so the visibility is pretty damn good. The clip coming out of the side-by-side, it was really dark, and heavy overcast again. And you'll see me turning the lights on and off, showing you guys the difference with the IR lights and without it. And that was with the RNVGs as well. Recording through these is a little difficult. You have to have like an attachment back here with the cell phone. And so the colors might be a little bit different. It's the same tube, but for some reason, excuse me, with the camera, sometimes the color changes. So one picture might look kind of bluish, and then another one might look a little greenish. I'm not sure why that happens, but it does. But I'm gonna go ahead and share that with you guys right now. All right, I hope you guys like what you see. If you do, please hit the like button, get the subs going, get the notifications going. I would really appreciate that. The channel's really growing. It's not, blowing up where it's, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers, but it really has grown within the last year, and I can't thank anybody else but you guys. I really appreciate it, and I'm gonna do everything I can to just try to keep the content rolling. It's difficult. I'm not doing this full time. It's kind of like a hobby, but I really do enjoy it. And whenever I do have the time to share this type of information with you guys, I do everything I can to try to put that out there. I appreciate all the support, guys.